Hello and welcome to another episode of Hard Talk with me, Bernard. And today I'm going to focus on counseling and what basically counseling is all about. From a counselor's perspective and also from a client's perspective. Because I've heard a lot of misinformation out there regarding what counseling is all about. So basically, counseling is the relationship between a counselor and a counselee. In this case, a client, where there are expectations from me as a counselor and there are also expectations from the client. For example, as a counselor, I'm required to have empathy. I'm also required to have unconditional positive regard for this client. I'm also required to be genuine, and I'm also required to model good behavior to this client. Before I even start counseling, I must prepare myself to provide counseling. This is where I make sure that everything, the setup, the chairs, everything that we need in a counseling session is ready. Again, when I start preparing, when I start providing, that is the counseling session, I'm required to be there physically, psychologically with the client. I'm required to give him an ear, a listening ear. I'm also required to allow him to express him for who he is. I'm not required to judge him no matter what he reveals. And again, the counseling process or whatever information that the client decides to share with you is strictly confidential. And exactly what that means is that you are not in a position to reveal whatever information that the client has revealed to you to anyone, unless in cases where you feel maybe the information that he has revealed is harmful to himself or to other people. As a client, this is your play. As a client, as a counselor, I will only work with what you will provide for me. For example, if you go to a doctor and you tell him that actually you have a toothache, the doctor will prescribe you medicine that will actually deal with that toothache. But if you go to a doctor with a backache and you reveal to him that you are having a toothache, he'll only treat the toothache but not the backache. That is exactly what happens in a counseling process. As a counselor, I will work with what you give me. So a lot of honesty is required from you. And from there, henceforth, once we create that rapport, once we set the ball rolling, the counseling process becomes effective, and eventually all the goals eventually are realized, and we are able to move on. We are able to transit in a way that will be effective, in a way that will be helpful to you as a client. Stay tuned for more on this, on how and why the counseling process must be something that is helpful to a client and also to the counselor at the end of the day. Stay tuned. Now, from a client's perspective, as a client, it is good to know that the fact that you are here in that counseling session, it means that you are willing to do something about whatever it is that you're going through. It's a mark that you are willing to work on whatever it is that you're going through. With that at the back of your mind, it's also good to know that many scholars actually have come out with so many books that actually suggest that each and every one of us was born with what they call actualizing tendencies. You can be whatever it is that you want to become. If you just put your mind right, if you just put your mind in the right scope, if you just put your mind in the right frame of reference, you can become whatever it is that you want to become. There's a book by Lois Chen that was published in 1998, and it talked about each person, all of us having all the resources that we need to actualize, to become what we want. There's also a saying that I heard that if God woke you up this morning, what simply that means is that He's not yet done with you. So don't give up on yourself. The moment you open up, the moment you share whatever it is that you're going through in a counseling session with a competent counselor, that is a mark, that is a leap of faith. That is reason enough to show that you are willing to overcome whatever that you're going through. There's a lot of brutal honesty. Again, we focus on a client sharing whatever it is that is going through with a lot of brutal honesty. What that means is that you look or you focus on those specific areas in your life that you don't want to focus on. Those specific areas that you don't want even to look at, those are the areas that we focus on. Because most of the time, as an addiction counselor, what I actually say is that addiction is basically a projection of what we are going through. The main problems, the main underlying issues that actually lead someone to drinking are what we call the roots of addiction. And the moment we learn what the roots are, then we can cut them. And that will help us in overcoming whatever it is that you're going through, any addiction, leave alone addiction, we deal with the roots, because the branches are just, addiction is just a branch, basically. So the moment we chop off the roots, we have we have like dealt with this issue of addiction effectively. So as a client, is up to you. You lead. So you lead and you watch yourself become. Because in a counseling session, the client basically is the one who is in the arena. The client basically, as a counselor, this is not your play. You are working on, or you are working with what the client is actually feeding you. So as a client, you are expected to be to show a lot of empathy, to be genuine, to be authentic with that counseling process, in that counseling process. And as a client, that is what is expected from you. You have to lay it out, everything. We talked about the moment you go to take a shower, you must remove all your clothes. That is exactly what happens in a counseling relationship. You must remove all your clothes in court. You must say whatever it is that you're going through. And with that, basically, you have just stepped on a path that will see to it that eventually you will overcome whatever it is that you're going through. So in life, there is nothing that you cannot overcome. In life, there is nothing that change cannot put to an end. But that, as a client, must come from you. Remember what that famous American president said, that if he was given 8 hours to cut a tree, he will spend 7 hours sharpening that axe. So basically what that means is that the will to win is nothing without the will to prepare. You must prepare yourself for what you are about to become. The same way that president said that if he was given 8 hours to cut a tree, he will spend 7 hours sharpening the axe. The will to win is nothing without the will to prepare. And then from there, you watch yourself becoming whatever it is that you want to become. Remember, in our previous episode, I said that the 3 B's: believing, beginning, becoming. Becoming is the easier part, but you must believe and you must begin. Well, that's today's episode of Hard Talk with me, Bernard. For more of this, stay tuned to my YouTube channel, Bernard Gakuru, and let us walk on this good journey and let us forge forward as far as counseling, as far as overcoming whatever it is that you're going through, as far as embracing change, as far as you becoming the better version of yourself is concerned. Have a good one.